Welcome back to Morning Live. Now this morning we look back at the career of one of the most decorated tennis players ever. With 23 Grand Slams behind her name, she sits at the royal table of the sport. And after announcing her upcoming retirement, we've roped in tennis analyst Bruce Davidson to talk to us about a career really worth celebrating. Good morning, Bruce. Thank you so much for joining us on Sports on Morning Live.
It's good to be on the show. Thank you so much. Good morning to all the listeners and the viewers.
Bruce, now let's talk about this announcement by Serena, which we saw, of course, on her social media yesterday. Should we be surprised by this? Because some would say the split from her longtime coach, Patrick Mouratoglou, should have been an indication that her focus and attention wasn't so much on tennis anymore.
Well, I think we all were waiting in anticipation for this news. I mean, it's not news that we all wanted to hear. We all love Serena. A lot of people have hoped that she would get her 24th Grand Slam. We all know how important that is to the world of tennis from a record-breaking point of view. And she's such a celebrated champion that it's just quite sad that she's possibly never going to get that. But 23 Grand Slams in the bag is an incredible feat. She's been the world number one, a dominant world number one. And I think it was the injuries and her age. She's 40 years of age. You must remember that she isn't a spring chicken anymore. But of course, it was all the incident, that very simple incident. A phone was in the car with Olympia, her daughter. Her daughter was playing with this phone, and she heard her daughter say to the phone, "I want to be a big sister." And I think she just, in her mind, thought, I need to have another child. I need to now decide what I want to do, play or extend my family. And she's calling it an evolution, and we've got to respect that decision.
And indeed, as we respect that decision, Bruce, one cannot forget, and I think sometimes we do tend to forget, the incredible amount of silverware that both Serena and Venus have won individually and as a doubles pairing.
Absolutely. You know, the Williams sisters, when they burst onto the scene so many years ago, were just such a big talking point, and they delivered exactly on that talk. I mean, they really dominated. Venus was the one that started out, and she did so well. She looked like she was going to be the Serena, but everybody was saying the younger sister is going to come through and shine, and she certainly did. And she just played such a brilliant, hard, a big game right until a late stage of life. 40 years old and you're still playing at such a high level is quite an incredible feat. She deserves to rest now. She deserves to have maybe another child. I think that the plan with the billionaire husband Alexis, and we as a tennis fraternity and sporting fraternity really need to give her credit for what she's brought to the table, not only in tennis but in sport.
And as we talk about that, it hasn't been that easy for the Williams family. One looks back at what happened in the Indians Well tournament, where they were not treated well at all, leading to a 14-year absence by the sisters from that venue.
Well, aren't you surprised? You know, racism around the world is just such an ugly topic. It's just a real thing. And, you know, she's been through a lot. We have to give her credit. There were a lot of people that weren't happy about her success. You know, Black Americans obviously embraced it. But, you know, the world... there was a lot of mixed feelings. And even today, as I was preparing for this interview, I was going through some Twitter feeds and I was going through a lot of social media. There is still a lot of doubt in a lot of people's minds, you know, as to who this woman is. But, you know, I celebrate Serena Williams. Ironically, the announcement came on Women's Day in South Africa. I know Serena very well personally, and I really believe that she is an incredible woman, an incredible mother, and has contributed largely with her sister to the sport in general.
And it's so sad that you say that, Bruce, that so many people are doubting her. But as I'm wrapping up with you, all good things have to come to an end. And after 2 decades playing professional tennis, she has inspired so many generations. And I think we can say with confidence that she's leaving the sports of tennis and women's sports altogether better than the condition in which she found it.
Absolutely. She's contributed enormously. And I was so delighted that she won her first round match in Toronto yesterday. I mean, she's going to be playing in a few warm-up tournaments. She's going to probably do the announcement in my opinion at the US Open, which she's won 6 times. And I think, it's going to be a momentous occasion when she does play at the US Open. When she eventually loses, it would be lovely for her to win the tournament. But boy, has she contributed. She's a giant. She's won so many sporting awards, let alone tennis awards, because she has been recognized as such a supreme athlete. She certainly has made her mark on tennis and sport in the world, especially the women's game.
Indeed, Bruce, thank you so much for your time here this morning as we really talk about an outstanding sportswoman. Do have yourself a blessed day further. Right, that is of course Bruce Davidson. He is a tennis analyst talking all things Serena Williams. I mean, really a giant when it comes to tennis in the world. And as a sportswoman, she's given a voice to the voiceless. And for people to still doubt her, it really is sad that some people feel that way.